Let's look at some further increase and decrease examples. Now these ones are going to involve decimals and fractions, so you can sort of see how we deal with those. So here we have the question where increase $83.75 by 3.5%. So it's our same process of increasing by that. So we want to do our 100% plus the 3.5%, and that gives us 103.5% of $83.75, okay? And that will then give us as a decimal, will give us 1.035 of is times 83.75, okay? The other thing to note here is that the decimal that they've given you is 83.75, so you could also rewrite that as 83 3/4 if you needed to. And then from there, obviously, you would then just solve that with your calculator, 83.75. Okay, and so 1.035 times by 83.75 will give you 86.68125, and we would round something like that off to 2 decimal places, so 86.68. The next number is less than a 5, so we don't have to round up. So that would become then 86.68, and we're dealing with dollars, so we're going to make sure we put that dollar sign on the front of it to make sure it's correct. Okay, so let's look now. We're looking at a decrease of 5.2 kilometers by 1 3/4%. So again, we've got that 100%. I'm going to take away the 1 3/4%. Okay, so that's going to leave us 98 1/4%, or 98.25%. Okay, so we've got a couple of options there, and it's where we can use a little bit of our mathematical thinking to make these things a little bit simpler. The other thing to keep in mind is that the 5.2 is already a decimal, so converting it to a decimal might be an easy option here. So now we have our 98.25% of 5.2. So that becomes 0.9825, okay? So a decimal point, because it's over 100, we need to move it 2 spots, 9825. Of becomes times 5.2, and then we can work that out on our calculator. We know the answer is going to be fairly close to 5.2. 0.9825 times by 5.2 is going to give us an answer of 5.109, and we've been asked in this particular question, we've been asked to round it to 2 decimal places. So we can look here that the 9 forces this one up to a 1, so that'll become 5.11, and it's kilometers as per the original question, and it's effectively almost 100% of that, so it's going to be very close, and 5.11 is pretty close to 5.2.